The government is also looking to curb the loss of business incurred by China, gobbling up India's share of API as well as intermediates. In fact, Sarabjit Kour Nangra of Angel Broking joins us on the show to tell us more about the same. Good morning, Sarabjit. To start off with, there are reports suggesting that the centre is planning a major surgery in terms of where the drug policy is concerned. And the key things that are expected to be on the annual are price curbs in terms of where fewer drugs go. There is going to be no need for plant permit renewal as well as push to R&D. So with all of these measures on the annual, what do you make out of this and what's the impact in terms of where the sector is concerned?
See, DPCO in its new avatar is kind of, there is still industry-wide debate as to why DPCO should control to that extent, because it was not required in earlier cases. But in the recent past, we have seen, its impact in terms of pricing playing out in the industry already, affecting the numbers coming in. So I guess, yeah, it's since it's government related, it's difficult because it's not its effects are long lasting, and even if it gets reversed, it takes a bit of time. As far as current expectation coming through, I think currently difficult to say, because it depends on what kind of drugs come in and what get exempted also. So I guess overall currently I'm not making a view on that, but I'm sure that depending upon the value of the drugs, it will have some impact on overall pricing of these drugs, obviously, and the companies which are selling in large quantities these drugs.
Right, Sarabjit, 750 formulations under NLEM currently, and that really is what dominates NPPA as far as pricing controls come in. Once there is a rethink on this, how is the new metrics likely to pan out, and on the back of your head, any companies that are likely to benefit from this?
What likely to come out? The drugs out of these? If all of the drugs come out of the NPA?
The number of drugs that could possibly reduce under the NPPA controls.
Definitely it's positive, because any government intervention takes away free market pricing from the from the industry. So obviously, if that doesn't remain as a sword over their head, in that case, definitely it's positive only. And we have seen the ramifications of it being played out when many drugs came under it. So to that extent, yeah, really positive only for the sector as a whole.
Okay. Sarabjit, additionally, one major reason why they are doing this is to arrest the loss of business that India has been facing due to China, wherein, it's already taken away India's quite a lot of share in terms of our APIs as well as intermediates are concerned. Once this comes through, which are the kind of companies that will look to benefit out of this kind of a move?
See, in the listed space, if you're talking about API, there is very few companies who are into API. I don't track actually. There are few companies who are into API, but majority of API now is a mixed bag of API and formulation. So it's not just API. Like you have Ipca Labs selling API, but or smaller companies, regional companies are selling API. So nothing that come off my hand. On my mind that I think is API and a major player in API. Most of them are now diversified into formulations also. To that extent, yeah, prices of APIs will remain firm. So most of the pharma formulators will see some squeeze happening if that happens on margins. So I guess that will be, if they try to protect the API players from Chinese competition, that could be the effect on the formulators. API players could benefit, but I offhand don't remember pure 100% API players which is available for that play, because I don't track that space in the listed part of it, so can't recollect it right now.
Sarabjit, a lot of pharma companies have held, especially the MNC ones, have held back on R&D investments owing to lack of clarity as far as copyright and patent laws in India are concerned. Do you think that if such a big reset were to happen on the pharma policy, there also needs to be a change in some of the copyright laws in the country? And how do you see that playing out, especially the kind of conflicts that could come in between states and governments?
See, companies are doing R&D. It's not that they are not doing. Sun Pharma has its R&D arms called SARS, which is doing the same. And there are, companies who are doing R&D. Maybe not to that extent that global peers are doing, but they are into it in some form, either NDDS or other forms. So to that extent, yeah, I mean, it's happening, but yeah, it's happening on a small scale. Now, apart from patent laws, obviously, which is not to that standard as expected or that stringent, but obviously, apart from that, Indian companies are not experienced as far as, even patent or doing R&D work, actually. So to that also inhibits them to invest that much amount, and it takes a lot of even if I add Indian advantage of discovering molecules, it takes a lot to discover one molecule. So obviously it takes a lot of commitment, and then obviously commercialization is a theme, and mark to market is there. So it is a long gestation investment framework. So unless your cash flows are that strong that you can support that kind of an activity.
Right.
There are various other constraints to it.
All right, Sarabjit. Thank you for getting us all the views in terms of where the new pharma policy that can be on the annual, and there are expectations that it can, in a short period of time, we might see a few changes where the government is taking key initiatives to make India the pharma hub. Additionally, the kind of business that India has lost to China in terms of our intermediates as well as APIs are concerned, they want to get that back to India. So a key positive in terms of all the players that have been operating